Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Breakfast All Day. How are you? I am Christy. That is Alonso. Up next for us is The Harder They Fall, which is now on Netflix. It's been out for a couple of weeks out in the world, but you can watch it from the safety and comfort of your couch. And I think you should. Alonso, what's it about?
Oof. Okay. Well, there's a lot going on here, so I'll try and just give you the broad outline. Jonathan Majors plays outlaw Nat Love, who steals from other robbers. And the reason he does it is because he's spent his entire life getting revenge on the band of outlaws who murdered his parents and scarred his forehead when he was but a wee bairn. He thinks that he's gotten everybody taken care of. We see him kill the man with a scorpion tattoo at the beginning of the movie, and he reunites with his old flame, Shotgun Mary, played by Zazie Beets, but then finds out that no, one of the guys is out of prison, and that would be no less than the notorious, oh God, I don't have his name in front of me, something Buck, Rufus Buck, played by Idris Elba, who's just gotten out of jail under complicated circumstances. Rufus Buck and his gang, which includes Regina King and LaKeith Stanfield, have some elaborate plans that involve taking over an entire town. But of course, Jonathan Majors and his gang, which not only includes Zazie Beets, but also RJ Seiler from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and the TV Scream, have vengeance plans of their own. It all gets very bloody and very exciting, and this is the kind of Western that loves Westerns and is there to just really have fun with not just the John Ford of it, but the Sergio Leone of it. And, you know, 1 minute you've got sweeping vistas, and another moment you get like these quick cuts and POV shots and, you know, sudden bursts of blood. And so, you know, if the pleasure that you get out of a genre movie is the pleasures that the genre holds, which sometimes can outweigh things like, you know, plot and character and narrative, you will have a great time with this movie. I certainly did.
I had a blast too, and I would argue it's beyond a Western. It's like a mashup with a blaxploitation film. This is the kind of movie that Quentin Tarantino wishes he could make.
Oh, so wishes he could make.
Because it's got more focus than his movies. His movies, that, I mean, if you love them, you love them, but there's such indulgence and they're so overstuffed. And this feels like it's like a leaner, slicker, sharper version of that kind of really bold genre mashup.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, given the actual history of cowboys in the West, there has been a real underrepresentation of Black characters in American Westerns, because like a great many cowboys were in fact Black. And in fact, we're told at the beginning of the movie that while this is not a true story per se, all of these characters actually existed. They are all real people. And so they live in these spaces that are pretty much entirely Black towns, much like, you know, the Tulsa that we're presented at the beginning of Watchmen, where one of the characters watches a silent film about Sheriff Bass Reeves, who is in this movie, played by Delroy Lindo. And so, yeah, there is an interesting undercurrent here where you have like the good outlaws and the bad outlaws and the good law and the bad law. And ultimately, even though these characters are fighting against each other for, you know, honor and vengeance and one-upmanship and various other reasons, they are also very aware of the fact that as Black people in, you know, late 19th century, you know, the United States, that they are, you know, the victims of oppression, and they are working past what is being, you know, laid upon them and what is being expected of them and how they have been treated for the centuries leading up to this moment. So it does kind of add this sort of, you know, harshly poignant undercurrent to what is your sort of standard like showdowns and throwdowns and you know, shootout kind of movie.
And they address that racial disparity and that oppression in a scene that is both playful and biting. Like, I don't want to give away what happens when you first see this town.
Right.
And
yes,
because it's such a good bit. It's so
one of the
funny.
Funniest things I've seen in a movie this year.
It's so funny and so clever. And like from a writing and from a production standpoint, it's like so detailed. Jeymes Samuel co-wrote the script with Boaz Yakin, longtime screenwriter. And they had a lot of fun with, the anachronism of the language and just the colorful nature of these characters. I love LaKeith Stanfield in this movie so much. He is so sexy and so confident and so charismatic, like in a brilliantly quiet, calm way, but also he gets really meaty monologues, like really choice, juicy monologues. And he has such a good time just like playing with the words. And it's just a beautiful cast. I mean, you've got Idris Elba and Regina King and just like gorgeous actors photographed so beautifully. And I just really enjoy the daring of it. It's very long. It kind of sags there a bit in the middle.
It could do with a little trimming, but again, as compared to a Tarantino movie, the pacing is much tighter.
Yeah, it's just go ahead.
No, I say it's hard to pick an MVP because I think like Jonathan Majors has such charisma, such like just that movie star thing that people have for the camera. And we've seen it before. We saw it in Last Man in San Francisco. We saw it on Lovecraft Country. But he and Zazie Beets have palpable chemistry.
So sexy.
Their sexual chemistry together is just like off the charts. And then Zazie Beets and Regina King have one of the best fight sequences I've seen all year. I just reviewed Red Notice, which we'll talk about next week when it premieres on Netflix. And there's a big scene where you think, ooh, The Rock and Gal Gadot are going to throw down. That's going to be amazing. And it's just like edit in that way that like choreography, whether it's fighting or dancing, means, oh, you didn't have enough rehearsal time. So we're just going to have to like fake something together. This movie, when they're going at it, them and or their stunt doubles are going at it, and the shots are long enough that you feel like you're seeing sort of full ranges of motion and full kind of segments of a fight in a way that's really exciting.
We should mention who shot this. It's Mihai Lemire Jr., who has shot many of the more recent Coppola films.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and he shot The Master too, and Jojo Rabbit. So like that scene in particular, like in a movie where so much is like neutrals and it's arid and it's, dusty Western town, that scene has this fantastic pop of color. Like the reason that it is colorful is kind of clever, but it's totally different from everything else in the movie. But that sequence, there's like a cross-cutting that goes on between their fight and another fight. And both of those maybe go on a little bit too long. And like, that's an example of like, maybe it could have been a tiny bit tighter. I still really, I dug it. And I love watching these actresses get to play such physical roles. And once again, you get between this and Watchmen, you get Regina King looking badass in a mask.
Oh yeah. By the way, we should also point out, when we're talking about the cinematography, like a topic we come back to very frequently is the notion of shooting black skin and making black faces really pop on the screen. And I mean, this movie is exquisitely lit because you have an almost entirely black cast. Like there are certain scenes that involve white characters, but it's generally an all black cast and a black cast of different skin tones. Right. And everybody looks great.
And a couple of Latino actors.
Yes.
But yeah, mostly black actors. We should also mention Danielle Deadwyler.
Yes, as Cuffy.
The androgynous Cuffy, and what she brings to it, which also feels very new and now and relevant. Although I'm sure there were a lot of people in the West.
Oh, absolutely.
Who were like this character. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah.
Remember The Ballad of Little Joe, that Susie Amos movie from the 90s, where she played a woman who lived as a man in the West for like decades. And it's, I mean, narratively, she plays the kind of role that like would normally be cast by like a 14-year-old white boy, somebody who's like eager and just wants their shot and like is good at certain things, but is ready to like get out in the world and like grow into the ultimate version of who they're going to be. And here it gets to be a black woman, which is awesome. Yeah. Just from the titles to the music, to the way it's shot, to this cast, it's really fun and stylish and has fantastic energy to it. Yeah. So it's on Netflix. It's self-aware, but it's never like irritatingly winky, and it's not sort of bludgeoning you with how clever it is. It just is being clever. Red Notice bludgeons you with how clever it is, but more on that next week. So yeah, by all means, check this out. And if you are going into theaters and you have this screening near you, like see it on the big screen. It's really gorgeous, and it's very kinetic for most of its running time.
I wish I watched it on TV on Netflix, like for radio a few weeks ago. So I kind of wish I'd seen it in the theater. I'm saying 7.9.
I said 8.
Okay.
Or did I say 8.5?
You said 8.5.
8.5. Yes, I'm sticking to it.
Okay. 8.2 is our number. The Harder They Fall is currently on Netflix.
Yes, it is. Thanks everybody for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And do visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We're doing our TV recaps over there, wrapping up morning show, but we've got exciting stuff on the horizon like The Great Season 2 and Hawkeye. And of course, you can watch videos like this without commercial interruption, and our monthly Off the Menu, and lots of other fun stuff for our subscribers to check out. So think about becoming one. Patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.